Hello and welcome to KJTV News. The Sudanese military has announced that it has successfully retaken the Republican Palace in Khartoum, marking a significant development in the ongoing conflict with the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF. This victory follows nearly 2 years of intense fighting between the two factions, which began in April 2023 when a power struggle between military leaders escalated into a full-scale war. Videos circulating on social media show Sudanese army troops inside the presidential palace, chanting victory slogans and celebrating the takeover. A military officer, seen wearing a captain's epaulets, confirmed the news in a video recorded inside the building. The palace, which has long been a symbol of Sudanese governance, was previously under RSF control. Images from inside the palace show significant damage, with shattered tiles crunching under the boots of soldiers as they surveyed the area. The Sudanese information minister took to social media, stating, "Today the flag is raised, the palace is back, and the journey continues until victory is complete." His statement reflects the military's determination to push forward in its efforts to regain control over the country. The palace's recapture follows weeks of military advances by the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF. Reports indicate that fierce battles took place in and around the palace complex before the army secured control. Soldiers carrying assault rifles and rocket-propelled grenade launchers were seen celebrating their hard-fought victory. Beyond the palace, the army has also taken control of key government buildings and ministries in central Khartoum. A military spokesperson stated, "Our forces have completely destroyed the enemy's fighters and equipment, seizing large quantities of weapons. We will continue our progress on all fronts until victory is achieved." The Sudanese army has also announced that it is now pursuing RSF fighters in parts of central Khartoum and preparing to enter Tuti Island, a key RSF stronghold located at the confluence of the White Nile and Blue Nile rivers. Reports suggest that the RSF has been given a limited period to surrender. While some residents of Khartoum have welcomed the military's advance, calling it the best news since the war began, the conflict remains far from over. The RSF continues to hold territory in other parts of Sudan, including the western Darfur region, which has seen some of the worst violence in the war. The humanitarian crisis caused by the fighting has been devastating, with the United Nations estimating that over 28,000 people have lost their lives and millions have been displaced. The war has led to one of the world's largest humanitarian crises, with food shortages, mass displacement, and ongoing instability. Residents in war-torn areas continue to live in fear, hoping for an end to the conflict and the restoration of peace. Sudanese citizens, such as Mohammed Ibrahim, a 55-year-old resident of Khartoum, expressed relief at the army's advance, saying, "We want to be safe again and live without fear or hunger." Despite this victory, fighting is expected to continue as the RSF has not yet acknowledged the loss of the palace. The battle for control of Khartoum remains ongoing, and the war has deeply divided the nation, creating zones controlled separately by the army and the RSF. Military analysts believe that while the recapture of the palace is a significant milestone, it does not mark the end of the war. The Sudanese army still faces challenges in securing the entirety of the capital and stabilizing the country. This development marks a pivotal moment in Sudan's war, but whether it leads to lasting stability remains to be seen. KJTV News will continue to bring you the latest updates on this evolving situation. In other news, Heathrow Airport, one of the world's busiest travel hubs, has been forced to shut down following a massive power outage caused by a fire at an electrical substation in Hayes. The unexpected incident, which started late Thursday night, has led to widespread disruption, with more than 2,300 flights cancelled and thousands of passengers left stranded. Authorities have confirmed that a backup generator, which could have helped keep airport operations running, was also affected by the fire. Energy Secretary Ed Miliband stated that while the exact cause of the blaze remains unknown, officials are working urgently to restore power and minimize further disruption. He also acknowledged concerns about the vulnerability of critical infrastructure and assured that a thorough investigation will take place. The London Fire Brigade responded swiftly, deploying around 70 firefighters and 10 fire engines to battle the flames. After hours of intense efforts, the fire was brought under control early Friday morning. However, the damage had already been done, leaving thousands of homes, local businesses, and the airport itself without electricity. Passengers have been advised to avoid Heathrow until further notice, with airlines scrambling to rebook flights and manage the chaos. British Airways and other carriers have issued statements warning that the impact of this shutdown could last for several days, urging travelers to check with their airlines for updates. Government officials, including the Secretary of State for Transport, are closely monitoring the situation. Emergency services continue to work alongside National Grid engineers to restore power as soon as possible. The UK government has promised a full investigation into the incident, not only to determine the cause of the fire, but also to assess whether the country's key infrastructure is adequately protected against such crises. We will continue to follow this developing story. Stay tuned for more updates here on KJTV News. Thanks for watching us, and don't forget to subscribe to keep updated.